everyone, and welcome back. They say you may not be a superhero, but you keep saving us from ourselves. And you know what? We say thank you. Hey,
Save you
guys.
from yourself, please. Take that off so you can breathe, please.
I'm not, look, today is a very special episode of the For the Culture Tubi movie review. It's Tubi Tuesday, y'all. And you know what? I'm Halloween ready, okay?
Are you going to hold it the whole time?
No, I'm about to take this shit off. Give me a second. God damn. Will you let the people see the shit? Okay.
Oh, they see it. Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yeah,
It's a full body suit.
All right. Okay. They see a lot.
Let me get this shit off. All right, guys, I can breathe again now. It's wonderful. For those at home who are listening to this via audio, I am in a full Spider-Man costume right now, guys.
Why are we
no surprise there?
It's Halloween. I'm surprised y'all aren't dressed up. Sean should be sexy Usher right now, and Leslie should.
Oh no, you are Usher.
I'm Usher.
You're right.
Exactly. Right. And then Leslie, I'm thinking for you. I don't know why, but I feel like I see you in a Dallas Cowboys killer outfit. I don't know why. I just see it. I don't know, but that's,
I'm not dressing up this year.
We'll circle back around to that. We will. But today, guys, we have a doozy, another movie, another entry into the Tubi cinematic hierarchy. The name of the movie is called Trap House.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what it is. Oh, man.
So funny.
Lovely movie. And I believe the movie came out in 2003, if I'm not mistaken.
2023, this year.
2020. Yeah, I don't know why I said 2003. That's exactly what I meant, though. But I'm glad you knew what I meant. But yes, the movie came out this year, everyone. A very interesting tale. And we're going to let Leslie take it away and tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so for the record, Tristan dropped this entire atmosphere, so blame him. No, it was all right. So the director was Nicholas Humphreys. No kin to me because I'm Humphrey.
That was exactly why I was hoping you would say it. And I was like, you could tell us.
That's one of my pet peeves when I introduce myself and I say Humphrey and like people either say Humphreys or spell it Humphreys. I'm like, where did you hear me say R-I-E-S? It's clearly R-E-Y. But anyway,
it could be Y-S.
That's even worse. So the writer is Jordan Robinson. And for notable actors, I put the main star, Detective Grant Pierce. His real name is Jamie M. I believe it's Calica. And he's played in Tyler Perry's Ruthless on BET Plus, among some other things. So I'm like, okay, he did Tyler Perry money.
Did have a familiar face to him. So.
Yeah. And honestly, I only watched like a few episodes of Ruthless. I know that's my friend Crystal. Shout out to Crystal. That's one of her favorite shows, but it was a little too chaotic for me. So I didn't really give it
I understand
too much time.
This bodysuit is bodying. Oh my God.
Okay, body.
For those listening, you're missing out. Okay? So I'm gonna let you know.
Are they? All right, so for Act 1, we have the introduction, and boom, it kicks off with a bang. So, it caught my attention and held it for a minute. So we start with a few teenagers who are smoking meth in a warehouse. Why they chose an abandoned warehouse to do this, I don't know.
Well, I mean, where else are you going to do it? You can't just do that shit casually. You know what I mean?
First of all, don't smoke meth, kids. Just a PSA right there. And if you are, don't smoke it in an abandoned warehouse. So... they're in the warehouse when the police. I feel like I have to do my due diligence.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome. So the police end up raiding it, and they tell everyone to put their hands in the air when we see Ryan, who I'm just going to describe him as a black teenager, just so listeners can understand. He takes off running into a room. The officer behind him tells him not to move, but he decides to pull open this door anyway. And his head is immediately blown off by a shotgun that's suspended in the air. Yeah, crazy. Literally within the first few minutes.
Blown off.
And
I don't even think... Yeah, they did. They showed the aftermath of that. I was like, ooh, he won't be okay. He won't be in the sequel.
Right. So the officer steps over him, continues surveilling the warehouse, and he senses someone, you can sense someone running around behind you or just around you, feel that presence. So he ends up letting off some shots until his clip is empty, and then gas starts to emit from the wall. So the officer begins choking, and then he collapses. And when we see a man in a gas mask looking around, and then boom, we're hit with the opening credits. So if you're gonna start a show or a movie off, start it off with a bang like that. Keep my attention. I'm here for it.
I'm gonna let you know right now. Whenever is a cop holding a revolver, That was fucking crazy. Like, why was he holding his Wild West gun and you in full tactical gear? That's what you brought in with you? You damn near brought a pea shooter to a fucking nuke fight. Like, what are you doing? But
in the year 2023, interesting.
because you saw that gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saw him with that Wild West shooter. I thought it was Wild Bill Hickok. I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. So the next morning, 2 detectives enter the warehouse to check out the crime scene. When they walk where
you skipped over my favorite part when he was like, "Yeah."
Oh, go ahead.
No, wait. I don't know if you was about to say it or not. When he was like, "Yeah, here go one of the meth heads right here."
Oh, that's exactly. Yep. We right there. So
you know this piece of shit.
they walk to where the teenager is lying on the ground, head blown off, and this is not funny though, because Detective Grant Pierce realizes it's his younger brother by the rose tattoo that they both have on their arm. So he sees that, he immediately starts break down crying, and that's when the chief asks him, if he knows him, that type of thing, and just like,
no,
I didn't know.
Tell the viewers what he said.
Go ahead and quote him. You remember it.
Here go one of these meth heads right here.
You know that piece of shit? I didn't know, buddy. I didn't know.
Terrible. The dramatics were dramatic.
I wouldn't laugh if the shit wasn't funny. They know what they did. They know what they gave us. They know what they gave us.
All right, so we're back at the station where Chief Bogart debriefs the rest of their unit on what's happening with the case. When Detective Pierce comes in and tells him that his brother actually died from besides a gunshot, but he died from nerve gas nerve gas was found within his system, I should say. He did die from the gunshot wound.
I might say he was shot in the face.
Yeah.
I know he died from that gunshot wound. Let me
clarify for sure. But Pierce thinks that a military veteran is responsible for the gas that was within the warehouse. So the chief basically wants him to stay off the case because, of course, it's personal for him and he won't be thinking clearly. And he says, basically promise me you won't touch this case. Pierce like, all right, but he gonna be all up on it, right? So we go to where we see Phibbs is dealing drugs. Who's another teenager. He's dealing drugs when Detective Pierce walks up on him and pulls out a knife while asking who dealt Ryan speed. So 2 guys see this altercation and they walk up, ask what's going on, and then they end up getting into a scuffle with Detective Pierce. While they're scuffling, Phibbs takes off running, and he goes back to the school gym. He's, shooting around when his coach comes out to let him know that he's been absent a lot from class and that if he continues to be absent, that he can't practice or play. So he agrees to do better, and then the coach tells him, to run laps until his teammates join him in the gym. So now we see Phibbs goes home. He opens a piece of mail for him and looks very excited at whatever the letter says. When he walks to the living room where his dad is like passed out sleeping on the couch in his undies, and he just tells his dad, I got accepted. To what? We don't know, but we could probably guess using context clues.
College.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're talk about how he
failing high school.
Huh?
I say even though he was failing out of high school.
Right.
Well, I mean, this is your senior year. That's the shit they got to report. They got to report them shits. You know what I mean? So you could get in. Like there were definitely people that got in, and second semester they were like, "Well,
slacking off."
I'm already in. So, oh, but can we shout out to that friend who gave him the name Phibbs? He said, "Bro, that shit's starting to stick, bro. That shit's starting to stick." Because his friend was like, "Yo, bro, where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to go hang with my granny." Nigga, he know you going to slang that thing. He know.
That friend's name is Mo. So we'll get back to Mo because he's going to make his way back into the story. So Phibbs is back on the street when Detective Pierce finds him again, pushes him up against the brick wall and shows him his badge and asking about his brother Ryan again. Phibbs says he doesn't know him, but knows about the trap house. And then Pierce is like, "You're going to take me there now." So the trap house is basically the city's oldest slaughterhouse. And there's a sergeant named Sergeant Lathan. Was it Lathan or Lethan? I think they said Lethan.
I think it's Lethan.
Lethan. Mm-hmm. And his business partner, Lexi, they, deal drugs out of it. So Pierce notices a similar symbol that marks the Gangster C's territory. And that's when Pierce tells Phibbs if he can't lie their way in, then he needs to find a way to sneak him in because he's trying to get answer as to what happened to his brother. So he basically opens up and tells Phibbs that Ryan was his younger brother who had a full ride scholarship for engineering before he ended up dropping out of school after his girlfriend got him hooked on meth, and that he basically just found him dead in the trap house. So Fib also tells his tragedy, and he confesses that his mother and brother died too, and that, you know, they share that tragic trauma, and that he'll find a way to get him inside in a couple of days.
Hey y'all, it's your girl, Shonda Dunn, and I'm here to tell y'all that we now have merch up live. You can find some t-shirts, you can find puzzles, you can find candles, whatever you want, we got it. Come check us out at culture101podcast.com.
So next we go to the Act 2, where we see the chief shows Pierce the video of him fighting the day before and basically tells him, you're suspended, give me your gun and your badge, walk away, you know, take some time. The coach follows Phibbs out the gym and asks him, you know, what's going on? I know you've experienced a lot of tragedy lately, but, you know, you're just not here. Like, what's really going on? And he suggests that he talks to, like, the school counselor about what he's been through. And Phibbs, being Phibbs, tells a fib and says that he tells the truth by saying he did get into college, but he said he skipped school to work at the car wash so he can pay for it, which we know is a lie. He's dealing drugs. So the coach basically tells Phibbs if he misses class again, then he won't graduate at all. So next we see Phibbs going to a drug house when Cormac comes out of the back room. Phibbs is instantly nervous around him, and Cormac, you know, messes with him and like tries to pressure him to smoke meth. Phibbs refuses, and then Cormac essentially tells him that the debt, whatever debt that he owes, it'll be paid if he like helps him rob Lethan. And Phibbs like, okay, I'll do it, but under one condition. And that condition was bringing Detective Pierce in, who Phibbs told Cormac his name is Jesse. But throughout the rest of this review, I'll be calling him Pierce because that's his name.
Please do. Don't call him Jesse.
Yeah. So Cormac questions if Pierce is a cop. Like, he's instantly like skeptical, looking at him, and he's like, he knows about the rose tattoo that was found on Ryan, the victim. So he's like, yo, let me see your right arm. If you have this rose tattoo, then I know you are a cop. Well, Pierce is already hip to how things go.
No, the rose tattoo was from the video. Remember that attack video?
That
was where he saw it because that video was on the news.
Yes. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pierce is already hip, and he knows that's like a distinguished mark on him. So he ended up covering it with makeup before he even got to the house. So he lifts it up, shows there's nothing there, and then they proceed. So all three of them go to the trap house, just kind of like scope it out. And Phibbs ends up he gives money to Lexi in exchange for drugs. They do their little exchange. And then he kind of asks, like, just to like hang out for a bit, tells the guys he's going to hang out for a bit. And he just starts wandering around, just kind of scoping the place out when he sees there's a bag of money in the room with Lexi. So he's like, okay, let me remember that. So he returns to Cormac's house and describes how the trap house is laid out. And then that's when they decide that they're, you know, going to go in. But first, Cormac points his gun at Pierce and tells him to give up his gun. He's like, I don't trust you with no gun. Give it up. And he makes Roscoe, one of the other guys in his crew, take it. And so I think Pierce ended up grabbing a knife. He's like, what you going to do with that? But he is grabbing a knife or whatever as protection.
I don't even know why people even ask that question. I'm going to poke somebody. That's the
Bring a knife to a gunfight.
If I get close enough, it's a knife fight. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. So next, we see that they're all walk up to the warehouse, and they immediately take out the guard that's at the back door, and they end up sneaking into the office, looking for the bag of money that Phibbs saw earlier. But of course, it's no longer there. They ain't just going to be sitting out chilling. So they got to be quicker than that. Like, what?
This plan was so half-assed. This plan was so half-assed.
It really was. So they walk into the hallway when I think it was Mo ends up pulling on like this attic door. He sees like this string to like this attic door or whatever, and his neck is immediately sliced. So this is where we get like the name Trap House. If you didn't get it from the opening scene, like clearly this house has trap doors. Yes, and booby traps all throughout it that instantly kills people. So that's where the name comes from.
Did you think that the main character at some point was going to be Egyptian? Because of all these fucking booby traps, I thought it was a tomb or some shit. Like, where you learn all this from?
No.
These goddamn booby traps. Like, I just really felt like... I just really felt like they clearly were about to be something else. Because I was like, where did you learn all these ancient art of booby traps? This is fucking crazy. It only gets worse from here. It only gets worse.
Yeah, it gets really crazy with some of these traps. So Pierce separates himself from the others, and he winds up stepping in some like sticky like glue like substance that's on the ground. So he pretty much removes his shoes and his mask, and he jumps up to use the pipe that's along the roof, and he makes his way over the glue to the other side. And then he ends up walking through like this doorway where he picks up this broom that's leaning against the wall, and it instantly releases like this large cement block that comes straight towards him. But he's, quick reflexes. He ends up dodging it. But again, that's another trap. So then he climbs into a vent in that same room, and he crawls his way through the building while the others are looking for him, since, they don't know where he went. Meanwhile, Fitz ends up finding this crying baby in this crib. He takes off his flannel shirt, wraps the baby.
No, but the crib had the barbed wire around it, though.
Yes. So again, another trap. So he ends up taking his shirt off, covering the baby with it, and tells Cormac he's not leaving without this baby. He's going to protect this baby. And Cormac's like, whatever. He has no heart. So Pierce ends up, as he's like crawling through the vents, he runs into like all these small like mouse traps, it looks like. And one of them like, snaps him or whatever. And so he makes a noise, and directly below him is Sandy and Roscoe. So they hear that noise up above them, and they suspect like someone's in that vent. So Roscoe, having this sword or whatever, just starts like jamming it up into the roof and ends up piercing Pierce.
Do you know what he had though?
No, I do not. Was it samurai sword?
Actual samurai sword.
Oh, okay.
Actual samurai sword.
There you go.
That's what one looks like, just for future reference.
It looked like the other one.
No, it don't. They don't look the same. Not even at all. The handles, the shape of the blade wasn't even the same.
Couldn't tell the difference.
I'm done with y'all. That's fine.
So Roscoe ends up piercing Pierce with the sword. And Pierce, yells out in pain a little bit. So at that same moment, one of the opponents spots Lexi and Roscoe and starts shooting at them. So they take off running. One of the bullets does get Roscoe. And as their opponent is like walking forward to come after them, he trips over a thin wire that I guess he couldn't see, and it shoots a sword out of the wall, which instantly kills him. Somebody got creative with these. So now we go to where we see Pierce making it out of the vent into like the meth lab, and he sees Lethan in the lab snorting drugs. He decides to drop down once Lethan leaves the lab, and that's where he sees like the gas tanks, and he's just observing everything that's in the room. So then Roscoe is struggling to walk because, again, like I said, he just got shot by one of their opponents. Sandy is trying to like help him. He's leaning on her and stuff like that. And he ends up walking directly into, was that like a bear trap?
A bear trap, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he steps right into it. So wails out in pain. Sandy, is able to pull it apart, but he's a goner at this point.
But it's gonna snap back. Like, you have to be strong enough to hold it down. They should have worked together.
Yeah,
I was like, y'all are trash. Y'all are killing the meth heads. That's what this is.
No, for real. So she ends up leaving him there against the wall. She was like, I love you, but I got to go. I got to.
Well, she did claim she was gonna go get help.
I would have claimed the same thing and saved myself. And you a goner at this point, like
no, because the thing is that was like his leg. We don't know how much he was going to.
But he's already shot, so that's 2 wounds. If you don't have like immediate help, who knows how long it's gonna take to get help? Like, I got a better chance to save myself. I love you, but
yeah, well, she didn't. But go ahead.
Well, okay,
it's
right
that
there.
That math.
Great segue.
Don't do math, y'all. Don't do math.
What I say at the beginning: don't do math, kids. So Lexi ends up like running into Fizz and Cormac holding her baby. So she immediately puts her gun down and just, begs them to like put her baby down. She ends up telling them that Lethan actually bought her when she was 8 years old, and he threatened to kill her baby if she didn't help with his business, and that he always seems to find her even when she tries to escape. So she says she's basically like forced into this life. You ain't buying it?
Hell no.
Tell that sob story to somebody else.
So, remember, Sandy took off running to save herself, and now she comes to a hallway where she sees an exit at the other end. So she's trying to climb through all of this. Like, again, this wire would be so thin and discreet. So she's trying to climb through all this wire that burns at the touch.
It's like acid wire or something,
right?
Yeah,
something weird like that. And so she even gets down to try to like crawl her way through it, but she ends up just getting caught up in it, and she just starts screaming in pain because it's literally burning her like all over her body.
That's because she never watched that movie Entrapment. That's all that is.
I never watched it either.
Well, there's
Me
a
either.
blueprint of how you get through such a thing. If you've seen that movie, she'd have got through.
So Pierce has been following behind Lethan at this point because, again, he's trying to get revenge. And that's when we see Cormac give Lexi her son. And the baby immediately starts crying. And then he leads them out the room at gunpoint, Lexi, Phibbs, and Cormac. So now we see Pierce catch up with Lethan. They start fighting. Pierce retrieves his gun and just starts shooting at Lethan. And that's when Lethan ends up stabbing him in the leg and runs away. So then we go back to Lexi, Cormac, and Phibbs. And Lexi, she knows like some of the traps, or majority of the traps. So she ends up tripping a wire on purpose that releases gas right in front of Cormac's face so she can get away. And Phibbs, stops Cormac from trying to shoot Lexi and her baby because, again, Phibbs vowed to save this baby. Like, that is his responsibility.
He got a good heart.
He does.
And I
feel like it's like a redemptive spirit about him. Like, he, wanted to make things right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like...
but we're going to find out why.
Yes.
In the very next moment.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's your boy Tris, and guess what? We got new merch. That's right, new merch. Come check it out. Culture101podcast.com. Stay tuned, stay locked in.
Okay, so now we're into Act 3, where Lexi runs into the room offering free meth to everyone if they kill all the intruders. So
where did all the meth heads come from? Like, we didn't see them in the whole movie.
That meth room.
And then all of a sudden, it was
room.
A classroom full of meth heads who were all down to kill whomever for some free meth.
Heck yeah. That's that free meth, you say.
Like, how did... That shit was so funny.
They grabbed pipes, they grabbed whatever they could find. They was like, we're going to get this meth.
Okay.
I'm here for the joining forces. And meth unite.
And meth we unite. All right, so we see Phibbs and Cormac start squabbling when I know when Pierce walks up behind the both of them, pointing his gun. So then Cormac turns his gun on to Pierce, and he tells him that Phibbs was actually Ryan's dealer, and he's the reason that he's dead. So now Pierce points his gun at Phibbs, like, why didn't you tell me this? And then Cormac kind of just leaves them because he's like, oh, they ain't worried about me no more. So he walks off. And so that's when Phibbs does confess that Ryan was his friend, and he did try to get him to stop, using meth. But he kind of put the blame on Pierce a little bit, saying like he pretty much abandoned him. So Phibbs also brings up the point that Pierce knew that they were going into this type of like trap house, but he didn't bother warning them what they were walking into. So we see when Cormac ran off, he ran straight back into Lexi's office, and he asked her for the combination to the safe because, again, they were trying to come for this money that they saw she had earlier. And she's like, she gives him the safe code and just begs him to let her go so she can feed her baby. And so he basically tells her, oh, you can go, but you're going to open the safe first.
That's right.
And she's like, no, just let me go. I just need to feed my baby right now. And she's like, the money isn't even actually in there. It's in that paint behind the painting on the wall or whatever. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to have you open that safe so I can see. And then we're going to check the painting. So he forces her to open the safe. And that as soon as it opens, a metal rod shoots out into one of her eyes. And so instant blood, instant pain. She's on the floor. And so he's like, Cormac ain't got no heart. So he goes over to the painting, moves it, and starts scraping out all the money that's behind the painting into a bag. So then we go to, as Cormac is running away, trying to make his way to the actual exit, he runs back into Pierce and Phibbs in the hallway. And that's when he's like, oh, hey guys, want to split this money 3 ways? Like, hey, and it's kind of like, what? Like, you just pointed your gun at me, what? So Pierce is like, no. And then they begin fighting. It's so funny. They begin fighting, and now Phibbs runs off because he's like, okay, they're not worried about me. So he runs off to once again go save the baby because this is his baby at this point. Like, he is not letting his baby go. So Cormac
remember when he saw the baby though?
Which I'm about to get to. So,
okay.
Yeah. It's literally 2 sentences down. So Cormac is choking Pierce when Pierce punches him in the throat. Then he grabs this string that causes like this metal sharp grid to come down. It came in the back of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It hit Cormac in the back of his head, pierced it right through him. Boom, he's dead. So Pierce gets up to see the baby that Phibbs brought back, and instantly he looks at the baby's eyes and he realizes that it has Ryan's eyes, and he just starts sobbing and just hugs the baby.
That. I really wasn't expecting that to be
Me
Ryan's
either.
baby.
No. When
I thought the baby was gonna be Lethan's.
No. When I saw the baby, the look of the baby, I was like, "That's a Negro baby.
A Negro baby.
That's a Negro baby.
Look at that
I know a
Negro
Negro
right
baby
there.
when I see one."
Fair.
And they kept zooming in on it too. I was like, "Oh no."
That's real.
I know whose baby that is. I don't know why she was boning a meth head. Oh, because that's the girlfriend that got him into the meth. That's got to be. It's got to be her.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know why that just clicked to me at this very moment.
Say that again so the people can get it.
No, because the girlfriend that got him into meth is home.
Lexi.
It's Lexi. It's
the dealer. Mm-hmm. So Pierce tells Phibbs just to take the baby somewhere safe and that he's going to find Lethan because, again, that's what he set out to do in the first place, was kill Lethan. Lethan comes into the Lexi's office and he sees Lexi lying on the floor, bleeding out, and he's instantly pissed. So he goes, Pierce walks into the lab. Lethan had walked back into the lab. They're there at the same time. They begin fighting. That's when there's a flashback of Pierce. The first time he was in the lab, he actually crushed up glass and added it to the drug that Lethan was snorting, which, do you snort meth or was that
You
coke?
can snort meth. You can. Okay. It's just more powerful if you smoke it.
Got it. Okay. So he added that crushed up glass to Lethan's drug that was out. So when Lethan snorted it, he's instantly in pain because he snorted glass. So he's like on the floor, going crazy. So they resume fighting, and that's when we see Phibbs takes the baby. He runs out of the building.
With that bag of money,
bag of money, yes, because when Cormac and Pierce were fighting, Cormac had dropped the bag, and that's when, Phibbs got the bag, he got the money, he ran out the trap house. So we see Lethan stab Pierce, and then Pierce tells him he opened the gas tanks earlier as he's lighting a cigarette. And that's when there's a huge explosion. Phibbs, sees it, runs away with the baby and the bag of money. So now we're at the end where Phibbs drops the baby off outside of the hospital. He puts it in a wheelchair, and then we see doctors, nurses come up to it. The chief is conducting a press conference saying that they're still identifying the bodies and that Detective Pierce's involvement was unsanctioned. That's when he looks up and sees that Detective Pierce is standing right outside the door with a baseball hat on, all incognito. He gives him a nod, and then chief just looks at him, And now we see Phibbs instantly run into his class. Don't look like he took time to shower and change clothes or nothing, because his coach is like, "You okay? What's going on? Look like he had a rough night." And he makes the excuse that he had a new cat that kind of scratched him up or whatever. And then the very last scene is Lexi. She's actually still alive. She did not die. She has an eye patch on, looking like Romeo from IMX. And she is counting her money and says Lethan was onto something with the traps, which leads me to believe they might try to make another one.
Trap house too.
And we'll cover that one too.
Will we?
Way better than I expected.
That's what I'm saying. It really was
way better than I expected.
Okay, do tell.
I'm gonna say I give it a 3.5. It's teetering that 4 line. Because I never really thought about a movie about a trap house that was full of booby traps. It was a cool little concept. I think they did a good job. I enjoyed it, and it felt like it went by quick. So it was a quick watch. It was pretty good.
Okay, so 3.5. Enjoyed it better than what you expected. Okay, I can work with that, Tristan.
No, it definitely did what I thought it would do. I'm not gonna say it was better than I expected, but it didn't hold me either. It was a decent time. It kept pace. There were some interesting things. There were a couple twists. Honestly, the acting was fine. There wasn't really too many cheesy. There were some cheesy moments.
Cheesy lines for sure.
Right. But everybody performed pretty well. someone had thought with the way they set their camera up, and edited this together. Like,
Okay.
and then they really made a small space. Because if you notice, when they kept walking past that place, like the place where like they initially chopped his head off, the friend, right? The place where the Iron Man, that's all the same space.
Right.
But they made it look like it was this much bigger place. And so I just feel like, shout out to the directing. They did a great job there. So no, I think I'm right with Sean on that one. We're gonna lock in at a 3.5. Absolutely.
Okay, I can respect that. Let me see. I think I would probably side with y'all. I think I could give it a 3.5 because I do think it had a pretty good storyline. Like, it made sense, the purpose going into the trap house. Like, he really wanted to avenge his brother and really figure out, what happened and stuff like that. And then the twist with the baby being his brother's, I thought that was a good twist that I didn't see coming. So that was good. And yeah, like I said, I feel like Phibbs had a redemptive quality about him. He probably felt guilty about, what happened to Ryan, and he wanted to help his brother, get the person who, is responsible for this. So yeah, I can overall give it a 3.5 as well, confidently. I
like the actor that played Phibbs. We should get his name. What's that gentleman's name?
Oh,
I like him. I'd like to see him in more stuff.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. And then, like we said, Jamie, the main character, he's been in some other stuff, and I think he's a great actor as well. So I definitely want to see him in more.
Trap. It's hard to type with my little Spider-Man hands.
Oh gosh! They
already
take that costume off.
I won't be doing that. I believe it's Peter Bundick. Shout out to Peter Bundick.
All right, Peter Bundick.
That's a name, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a name. Mm-hmm. So, would y'all say it does it for the culture? How y'all feeling?
I'm giving it a yes.
I'm gonna say so. Yes.
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah. Double yeses on that one. I'm here for it.
Okay. I say for like a to-be scary movie. Yeah, because I feel like it's along the lines of how like scary movies are today. You know what I'm saying? Because I always say like I don't watch scary movies or horror movies anymore because like they don't make them like they used to or whatever. So I feel like this is like on par with the climate of horror films now. So I could say it does it for the culture.
Yeah.
Shout out to the guy that was also my God, what's that man's name? Cormac.
Yeah,
Michael,
he did a good job.
Michael Eklund. He's been in a lot of things too, though. He's a character actor, and I was looking at him, and he just kept looking familiar, and I was like, "Oh, bro, you've been in a bunch of shit. That's why I've seen you. Little bit parts here and there, different TV shows like Smallville, stuff like that.
He plays a good villain.
Movies. No, he does. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was well casted. Like they did a good job. I understand the budget was low, but y'all got creative with a low budget. That's the type of shit I'm talking about.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Kudos.
Exactly. Man, we locked in on the same rating, 3.5. We locked in on doing it for the culture. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Who would have known it would have been a movie about a trap house?
That's on brand.
This Hallow's Eve. Man, it had everything. So I suggest you guys go check this one out, man. Like certified here, certified culture positive right here, y'all.
Yeah. Okay, look at us. I'm proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, if that's it, then you know what this means, that this is the end of this Tubi movie review. Thank you so much for those who are tuning in for the first time, and thank you again for those who are tuning back again. And if you guys want to check us out and hear other Tubi movie reviews, and perhaps look at the main podcast, Culture 101 podcast, feel free to do that on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And Leslie, if they wanted to reach out to us and talk about these movies and join this conversation, how would they do that?
So you can either comment directly on our social media. We would love to keep the conversation going there. Or you can email us at contact@culture101podcast.com. And we also have the website available. It's culture101podcast.com. If you want to drop a listener letter and you want to talk about a movie review that we gave, give your input, or make a suggestion, shoot it to us.
And Sean, if they were looking for our merch, where would they find that?
Our merch is on the website. Check us out. We got hats, we got mugs, we got
backpacks, blankets,
shirts. We got it all. Whatever you're looking for, we got it.
Thank you for that, Shaw the Don. We appreciate it.
That was so cute. She said, "Oh."
Until the next time, guys. We out.
Bye.
Bye.